I got certified 2 years ago. We've been doing CrossFit here for about 4 years. I'm Alan Buck, and we're here at my home gym. I'm 68 years old. I'm an anesthesiologist, and we have been working out outside here since 2008. We started doing workouts very similar to what I would read about in Iron Man magazine, that were Scottish Games workouts and junkyard gym workouts. And they were mainly flipping tires and lifting stones and dragging things around the field and doing weightlifting. And we had a visitor here one time that just told us that it was very much like CrossFit, and I'd never even heard the word before. That day I went in and studied CrossFit on the website, and the next day and from then ever since, my workouts have been all CrossFit. I had one or two friends that worked out with me. My wife would work out with me. My two daughters would work out with me periodically. And then after that, we just started attracting more and more people that would come here and work out with us. We started having more and more days where people could come and had established classes where they could come. And we're now up to about 75 to 100 people that come here on a weekly basis. At first, we had just very basic equipment out here, some weightlifting stuff and barrels and stuff to do farmer's walks and some tires. But we needed more pull-up bars and more equipment, and the people that were coming chipped in and made donations, and we just kept building more and more and acquiring more and more equipment. I guess this is the official entrance of Buck's Gym, as it says over the door, and this is what originally was a couple of horse stalls when my oldest daughter was younger, but we've gradually accumulated all this equipment in here. Some of these boxes, these jumping boxes, were made by a nurse that I work with. Two of the others we got left over from the regional games that we're real proud of those. But we've gradually accumulated about 30 dumbbells and 30 some odd kettlebells. These are training wheels that some of the guys made for us. Probably could use even some more, but these are very good when teaching the Olympic lifts, getting the bar the proper height off the ground without putting a lot of weight on it. We have about a dozen, 12 or 15, I forget, bars that we use for lifting. When we first moved out here to the barn from the basement, when we got interested in Olympic lifting, we acquired one of the first things that we acquired was this little lifting platform that we bought from Sorinex. So that was one of the very first pieces of equipment. We just gradually started accumulating more and more squat racks. I think we have 6 squat racks now. And in the beginning, we just had a couple of medicine balls. Now, 14 or 15 medicine balls of just about every weight. One of the first things I felt like we needed when we started getting bigger and having more people out here was a better way to accommodate more pull-ups and things that we do on the bars. There's a lot of things we do on bars, and more room for wall balls and stuff. And so I just designed this myself. Where the main thing is that we got 3 telephone poles that were put in by the Nashville Electric Service for us. They're used telephone poles. They're put 7 feet down in the ground, and by golly, they don't move one bit. I asked the guys that were going to install it if they could install it so that I had already bought these 70-inch long Rogue pull-up bars, and so I wanted to anchor it on the barn and have the other end of it on the telephone poles. And so I asked them could they possibly place it to where it was really plumb and exactly 70 inches, and boy, they did it. They did a beautiful job, and it's solid as a rock. It does not wiggle no matter how many people are here doing pull-ups on it. And in the design that I made, I thought that I could include the pull-up bars with a way to hook up rings on the pull-up bars, and then I wanted to have a place to hook up higher rings so that we could do muscle ups, and then even a higher attachment way up on the telephone pole for doing rope climbs. So we have actually 5 different ropes. 2 of them are just 12 foot long. The others are 15 feet, and there are different styles of ropes for people that are just learning. Probably the biggest changes were all this year. We needed more places to lift weights. We couldn't just lift weights in there, and so we had this very large lifting platform made here. It's solid concrete. It's flat so that the barbells don't roll off, and then we covered it with rubber, and we'll have 10 or 12 people out here doing Olympic lifting all at once. We needed a couple of more GHDs, you know, and these babies are expensive, and Rogue makes, I think this is called the Abrams, and this is one of the finest GHDs. It's very, very, very solid. I think it's named Abrams after the Abrams tank. But I wanted a couple more of them, and one of the guys that comes here he's a neurosurgeon, and he said he could make them, and so I mean these are at least as good, and he made these at home. He made me 2 of them, and I just can't believe how solid and well made they are. They're just beautiful. What can I say? One of the things I'm really happy about is that our gym is connected to a public park, and it has running paths in it. We sometimes drag sleds out there on the asphalt when the police don't get after us too much. I have marks in there for 100, 200, 300, 400 meters, 800 meters. We have marked off paths, and it's all pretty much in the shade. And it's just a perfect place to go right out and do Helen or something just out the gate. Also this year, the guys built this 10-foot climbing wall. They also put in a 5-foot wall that we mainly use for doing just climbing over and back, over and back, over and back. And then we also put in a stone pit. One day or early this year, we had a stone making party, and we made a bunch of stones, and we filled this with mulch so that they land fairly easy. We have some slosh pipes back there. Have some barrels also that we carry around the field. The stones, by the way, go from 45 to 120. 120 is our biggest one. Last year when the police came because we were pushing a prowler out there on the park property, the guys decided that we needed to have our own place to push the prowler, so they built this 25-yard concrete runway here that we push. There's prowlers down there that we probably can't tell what they are sitting up on their edge, but anyway, we push prowlers back and forth on this concrete. The tires are obviously for flipping, and we beat them with sledgehammers, and we jump on them, and we do all kinds of things with tires. These are 22-foot long parallel bars. We can do dips and just all sorts of different parallel bar workouts on this. These are monkey bars that are sort of our version of what they had at the games a year ago, 22 feet long, and we use them just for pull-ups or toes to bars for large numbers of people, or elbows to knees, but it allows us to have a lot of people doing pull-ups at the same time. 3 different kinds of sleds that we have, and then for farmers' walks, I've accumulated a lot of different kind of things. Some of these things are hospital containers over this way. These are military containers, and we do hold those and walk around pylons in the field. These are, of course, 80 pounds each. These are 50 pounds each. And some of these are 20s and 30s. We also have a collection of partial telephone poles and heavy fence poles. There's a lot of things you can do with just a very cheap piece of equipment. I mean, a lot of this stuff didn't cost anything at all, to get some telephone poles and water jugs and stuff like that. When I first started doing this and studying the CrossFit website a lot, they would always talk about the CrossFit community and the CrossFit community spirit and how that was so important. I see partners of mine that I've worked with for years that would hardly speak to each other at work, but now they come here and work out together, and they've become best buddies. You know, they go out to dinner together, and they go to the Titans games together, and they're sitting out here talking to each other for an hour after the workouts. It's just to my working relationship at the hospital with nurses and anesthesia people, surgeons. The CrossFit community has created a bond. You know, that we're obnoxious at work because that's all we ever talk about. And when a workout ends here, they want to sit around out here at the picnic table, and they want to talk and talk, and I can hardly get them away from here. Somebody a couple of months ago started bringing beer out here, and that's been a problem because everybody wants to sit out there and have a beer, just one, sit out there and have a beer before they leave. But the CrossFit community is for real. It is a real thing. I just love these people that come, and the more we come and the more we work out together. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's dying together or going through hell together. I don't know what it is. Well, one of the things that I've enjoyed the most about having this gym here, this home gym, is that I can bring people that I meet at work, people that I work with, I can bring them here and work out with them. And I feel like that I have really, in many, many, many cases, helped their overall state of health, their strength, their endurance, helping them eat right and lose weight. I just would always want to have more and more people come here. Our biggest problem is parking. You know, when you get 30 cars parked in my yard out there, it gets to be kind of a mess. But I just really like having more and more and more people here. I don't know where it's going from here. We may do more stuff. I didn't know we'd do this much.